Hey guys. So I was listening to the leader of France talk about how he had this conversation with Vladimir Putin and how, he felt it was successful. And the conversation was supposed to be about the conflict in the Middle East with Iran and Israel. How interesting that Ukraine wasn't the topic, since we know how obsessed Macaroon is. I don't want to use his real name, right? We know how obsessed he is with Russia, Ukraine, along with other leaders. So as I'm watching this clip of him talking to one of his ambassadors about it, I started to get like these images, and what I kept seeing was, okay, the way it was coming through was grown men, certain leaders holding hands, and they were in the circle and they were singing Ring Around the Rosie. Now, I know you guys think that's crazy, and it is crazy, but I get things like that symbolically. Ring Around the Rosie, I saw Macaroni, I saw Storm, the leader over in the UK. I saw I want to say it was Mark Carney there, and a few other ones. And I feel like Mark was just kind of pulled into that because Mark is desperate. Now, I spoke on Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, 4 or 5 months ago. I said that the summer is going to be significant for him, whether it's his career or the Canadian economy. I talked about that in my videos. I did, if you want to go back and look at them. And I just see these men are all in the same position. They are losing power, okay? And they know it. They can feel it. Certain leaders over in the EU, they can feel it. They feel weak, and instead of working with the US president or the US ambassadors here, however you want to say it, and how I'm getting it, they won't do that. They're going to work with each other. They are making a pact right now as we speak. And I believe that the phone call Macaroni made to Vladimir Putin was to test his energy. It was a test in some way. And sadly, Macaroni, you failed the test because you failed to see the truth. And your economy and your power is fading along with other EU leaders. And there's a woman that's about to leave, Ursula. I can say her name. I like to call her Medusa. She's leaving soon. She is going to be forced to get out. She is. Carney, you have unstable economy. You need this war in Russia, Ukraine, just like the other leaders. Money. You feel it's your only way, it's your only option. And I don't know why, because it's not. Y'all are going about this the wrong way. And I feel like none of you want to go to Trump, so Trump may or may not know about what's going on the sidelines. I don't know, but it feels that there's a big shakeup with the economy. It feels that certain countries in the EU are shaken up, including Canada, and I spoke on that. And you're going about this the wrong way. Instead of compromising and working together, you guys are standing in front of a bunch of dead roses, singing Ring Around the Rosie, pocket full of Rosie. Ashes, we all fall down. I know I didn't sing that quite right, but you get my drift. You're going to fall down. You're going to lose power. You're going to make this war bigger. And I see one by one exiting, leaving. The first one could be Karn or Urs. She really wants war. She really has it out for the Russians. I don't know. something personal there, but it's more out of a personal, it's there in the mindset, maybe her upbringing. But I see a war. What I see is people planning to keep this war going, and maybe not letting certain allies aware of it. Like, for example, Orban, he may not be aware of it. Trump may not be aware of it. These are things going on the sidelines. Only certain countries and world leaders know about. I feel like England would know about it. France would know about it. And some other EU countries, along with the Prime Minister of Canada. I feel like he's pulled into it because it almost feels like he's losing his shit behind the scenes, and he thinks that this war can save him just like all these other people, and it's gonna skyrocket. Things are gonna get really crazy, but I think Putin will catch on to what's going on. Maybe Trump, and hopefully it'll be nipped in the bud. And the escalation between these other countries, just doing things without notifying others. And that's what I see. That's what I see. And I hope I'm wrong. But this could escalate. And it'll be due to greed, because certain countries are failing and they have to blame it on someone, and they have to keep the money coming by making materials and weapons and whatnot. Or at least they think that. It's not going to save their positions. The shakeup is to get rid of the old, to put new in, whether it's economy, and that includes the leaders as well. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a shitload of unrest, and the red line will be crossed, unfortunately. That's what I think is going to happen. Macaroon, definitely those three. And there's a religious aspect about it all, but I don't know if it's connected to London, but I'm not getting much on that, honestly. But I feel like greed is just, it's to watch more men die, or women, and just bring this money in for fair gain to build up these countries' economies. And it's going to come out, and we're going to see people leaving their positions here soon.